Yeah, so right now we are getting Onimusha Dawn of Dreams set up as our next run. Looking over in the, like, I'm like peeking at the stream room, like, hello? I don't know if this is ran in the stream room. That might be a runner there looking over at the cameras. This might be a run where the runner is remote. There are a ton of runners involved in RTA in Japan, but also, like, Japan, this might just be like a US-centric sort of thing, but like Japan is huge, actually. If you were to lay Japan over like a map of the like US, like it does like go from like all along like the eastern seaboard. So like being able to all congregate to one spot, even though it's like on a map it looks like small island, we've got people from all over Japan participating, and it looks like we're going into the run. So we have coming up on the screen Onimusha Dawn of Dreams New Game Normal, and on the microphone here with me we have LonerHero, who is here to provide us some commentary. Hero, welcome.
奏者の超つがいです。よろしくお願いします。そしてOnimusha RTA といえばこのコンビ、今回もよりひろさんに来ていただいています。
I am honored to introduce myself as a runner of this game. I've been speedrunning Onimusha for quite a while, and the runner that we are looking at is Hinge. He's been speedrunning for pretty much a decade, I believe. For the entirety of Onimusha series. At the moment, he finally managed to get the run that he wanted with the Onimusha Dawn of Dreams, normal, any percent. It seems like he's at the moment introducing himself, as well as introducing a specific game glitch that happens on this game in Japanese version. What's really interesting about it, it also works on a specific PS2 module. So this game has a lot of interesting glitches. Now Hinge made a specific load, and he went back to exit the menu. And now he's about to select a new game. Have you played this game before?
I have not played this game. I'm here to support you and keep chat informed on what's going on. So I'm excited to see what's happening, and I'm so glad that we have you here to explain it to us.
Yeah, so as you can see, we're already moving around with these dodge cancels. You're going to start up with the game, the main character called Soki. This is the prologue chapter. It introduces the mechanic of the game, on how you could play. For example, this dialogue that you got, it says guard. And the R1, it says that it's a lock-on. Before, when we start running the game, there's been a lot of route development, and it kept changing over the years, and it's still changing, by the way. Every single time we are coming up a new strat, because right now we are killing these enemies just so to get an extra experience and the golds, so they upgrade the skill points better, especially with the glitch being active right now. After going through all of that zombie armies here, we are going to fight that giant guy. But yeah, it's like it's pretty much stepped away from the traditional Onimusha, which really focused on realism. Dawn of Dreams, it's more like where it's kind of like you're watching a Power Ranger or any sort of shonen show right there, because in Japanese it translates episode 1, episode 2 and such. Right now, Soki transformed into his Onimusha form. It's a sneak peek of a specific mechanic that we're going to lay down the line. The idea of this fight that we have to two-cycle the bosses by spamming a heavy attack, but it looks like, okay, Hinge recovered it nicely. He scared me a little bit there, where he has to block a massive swipe, but fortunately I did not.
ここはボスダンエモン戦のみです。
Obviously, as a classic PS2 fashion, it will always ask you, do you want to save or not? Coming up with this fight at this chapter, we're going to get an interesting mechanic here called critical, as you can see, where you press an attack before the enemy presses you. And since Hinge got the attack that he wanted, he started to stab him on loop every single time. Whenever he hits the magic, the enemy will take much longer time to recover. So you can loop this over and over and over whenever
本作は1話ごとに起点で買い物とかができますが、ここは即出発します。
Everything is happening so fast here, but the game is taking so long to load. I really do hope we get an HD collection or an HD remaster at one point.
さあここでステップについて解説します。
I wish if I remember the lore, but it's been a while. When I just stop playing the game for a while, I just forget about everything else. On how do I explain the lore in a very friendly fashion? It's interesting that Hinge skipped the save mirror there, because before we used to get an upgrade, a skill point called Chain. So whenever you get a critical, you could chain it on multiple enemies, but Hinge skipped it. Right now there's another boss coming out called Jube, but she's actually going to become your companion later on. In this game, they are going to introduce you a companion, but before you get the companion, you always have to fight them first, just to prove your worth to them. That's a nice pattern he got. Because what happened there is Jube started with a taunt, and taunt is pretty much the ideal pattern that you want to get there. This is a second method that he used for the critical. It's the way you do it is that you trigger the magic, and after you trigger the magic, you press a regular attack. Oh, he changed the way that he buys the mirror. It seems like getting the skill point at this mirror is faster.
次のエリアで本作特有の強制戦闘鬼武教が始まります。
We're going to have a nice critical setup here. Okay, fair enough. That's an interesting turn of event, because you'd want to get a critical there so you could refill your magic in order to clear the following test of valor faster, but it seems like there's no need for it. That's and if you're familiar with about Dawn of Dreams, in every single chapter you're always going to run across a challenge mode called Test of Valor. And Test of Valor gives you really cool rewards, such as weapons, a new weapon if you get a gold medal, obviously. And the way that you get a gold medal is simply to not get hit and beat things faster. Which is has been the core definition of this game since the first game got released. Now we're going to come across another test of valor where you had to deal with multiple enemies. I'm interested to see the kind of trick Phil does, because there we go. Because of the chain that we have got, the chain upgrade, it allows him to chain 3 times instead of 2 times. Now we're going to go get a skill called Helm Splitter. And to get that, we have to buy a prerequisite skill that is called the Finisher. You need to upgrade that 3 times and it will unlock the skill.
つまりどういうことかと言いますと、はい、このようにですね、兜割り突きとループさせる。
And there you go. That's essentially your most damaging skill there. As you can see, the health of that gatekeeper is melting and
この
melting.
辺りでですね、指示を特殊に変えておきます。また鬼武器です。クリア条件はガッチャの撃破です。
There's an interesting mechanic also going on for this, where your companion, I would say your friend that joined you recently, has a special ability where you see the green mark there, it says a Pacific command. And what Jube's special command is, she does a taunt against the enemy, so she will keep the enemy distracted, keep the aggro all on her, while Soki can go whatever he wants. If he wants to like get an item real quick, you know, without getting interrupted or blocked.
体力が徐々に減少します。待機は攻撃は行わず、その場で防御態勢を取ります。さらに最大体力の半分まで徐々に回復します。
So how are you feeling?
キャラクターに応じた特殊な行動をし
Like,
ます。
how's the game looking to you so far?
エリア全域の敵を挑発してヘイトを
This
集めま
is
す。
definitely like a game that I would point, like, yeah, I would have tried playing this, given up. There's so much, there's just, I'm not very good at this style of game, but I do, like, I love a good movement. I love that it seems like we're just kind of, like, dashing our way, but, like, not quite dash. We're just kind of going.
It's not just the dash, it's the fact that there's so much loading going on. It's like you're just waiting there, sitting, you know, like you're just sitting there. You'd be like, come on, load, like why is it going on? You know, it immediately finishes the area. Like the moment you look away, there's already a black screen.
So you mentioned that loading times and things, like it's going to prompt you to save. How often is the runner actually doing saves here, or like canceling the save? Can you tell?
The what? The canceling?
Or so like anytime it loads and it says, do you want to save, is the runner taking those saves, or is the runner skipping some of those saves to save time?
You have to skip the save to save time. Like whenever, you know, the next transition screen comes out, you can actually impromptu, like there's a dialogue comes in, you can mash out the button, you know, like something that comes up you already pressed beforehand. So this was a giant crab boss. We obviously took them to the Dove City. There was like a setup that you have to play a deflect minigame before you start DPSing. And then when you finish the chapter 1, in chapter 2 you're going to get to play the second character here, the friend that you just made from previous chapter. And then, as you can see, her way of movement is different, and you can see she's like sliding through instead of dashing through, because the way that Soki dodges, his dodging, it's only dashing way through, and he has a much faster recovery. While Jubi, on the other hand, she got an extremely slow recovery, so she have to opt to a dash cancel movement instead, where you can just hold the lock on and then, you know, you tap the joystick over and over and over there. These enemies aren't really being so kind right now. Now, the fun part of the Dawn of Dreams starts here, because you've seen early on we've used a critical mechanic. Now we're going to use a team critical mechanic, including the glitch trigger. So from there, you make them aggressive, and whenever you press the switch character, they can follow up. You see, like 1, 2, and 3. And we repeat the process again. But unfortunately, you know, you have to tell the other person to come out faster, and you have no control to the AI on how they move. But it looks like everything got cleared up. But yeah, like someone said in the chat, when you're a protagonist of the game, you get most of the privileges. You got the cool dash, cool looking sword, cool armor, and all of that. Right there, this interaction can be only done by Jube because, you know, the character size is small. There are going to be a lot of areas like those where you can only use the specific character where they can interact. Only it's exclusive to your friends. The main protagonist can barely do anything with that. There's some little nice of movement optimization there, where you have to switch character back and forth. The less that you switch character, the better it is.
Alright, 頑張ります。
Definitely doesn't help that we've got a sword about as tall as us and trying to get in some of those small spots.
Yeah, I don't know how he managed to carry all that weight while climbing all of these, you know, I think bambos. I don't think that these are a wooden ladder. There's a giant tree here as well. Those trees, the interesting part about those trees, now that I remember a little bit of the lore, those trees are one of the sources where these demons are born. So we got another friend that we gotta make, but it's not gonna happen until the later chapter, because at the moment, Ohatsu, right there, she's on the bad guy side. Like she's in some sort of conflict. But you may only going to fight her, I don't think once, but twice. She's also like infected with some sort of a spell. And obviously, with the power of magic critical, we only gotta loop her with that spam over and over and over. Because the sword that we have got in Test of Valor has just the right amount of damage, where you can just finish off the boss itself. After this chapter, we've got enough cash so we can go to do our shopping. We have to get a new weapon there. And that weapon called Light Sword. Hinge also got just the right amount of soul. These souls are called the Genma souls. The currency that where the character is going to get to upgrade his weapons. Compared to the older Onimusha games, in older Onimusha games, if you upgrade the weapons, their appearance is going to change. For this game, on the other hand, it doesn't change the appearances, but each specific level, for example, like from level 1 to level 5, it gives special stats. For the light sword, it will simply unlock an extra layer of the level magic, as well as some points of attack power
また
boost.
技の強化で一戦を強化す
This
ると
chapter here right now, it's a extremely huge maze where you have to collect
一戦について説明し
a
ます
9 orbs of Kitsune orbs. I think the 9 tails fox orb.
攻撃ボタンを押すと出る
So you
技で
could
す
just open to the main door that is
で
locked.
すが失敗するとダメー
And
ジ
the way it works is just that you shuffle between red and blue all the time.
状態の敵に蹴りを当てたりレベル1の戦術核を当てると敵の
When I played this for the first time, I obviously got overwhelmed, but all it really takes is the way that you count through the doors and the way that you remember the visual.
弾き一戦は
And you can notice that each orbs here has
攻撃を弾き返すこ
a
とができ
specific
ます
amount of dots that are glowing that you have to exchange with.
崩し一戦よりリスクがあるはずですが
That's another test of valor. Probably the most straightforward test of valor, where you have to just chain the right amount of criticals, and you without having to killing the enemies at
ボタン
all.
を連打すれば簡単に出ます。本作の連載一戦は同じ敵には当たりません。また威力は最初に出した
A lot of enemies at this chapter are extremely slow, fortunately enough, where you can just do the move around for free, unless they are the archers, like that thing that is standing behind.
操作キャラが一戦に成功した後 L2 ボタンを押すと仲間も一戦をしてくれます。
This is the soul cache. Hinge will need that because he needs about 2 bar in order to upgrade his light
ア
sword.
シスト一戦には指示による攻撃力の補正が乗ります。4話の鬼武教では猛攻に変更して早期の攻撃力を2倍
Oh,
に
that
して
was
ダメ
a
ージを
weird
増やしてい
pause
ました。
there.
この猛攻アシスト一戦は今後も活用しますので
Finally, we are at the last door, where we could get our final orb right here.
魂が足りないですね。
And there we go.
魂が足りない
That was a lot of orbs we have to collect there.
ちゃちゃっと一戦をして浜教
Seems like an emergency currency there that he had to get.
レベル5に強化
He
して
has to also upgrade the helm splitter there. That's level 3, 4, and 5. 40 attack power buff. And as well as some level 3 magic unlocked.
おっと暴れているが崩し一戦ですね。はい、これで
This
終
is
わります
one of the most important friend. If you're aware of his song theme, then you will recognize what character that guy is. This character is actually
大黒灯籠です。
Samanosuke, but in this game he's called Tenkai. Samanosuke is the main protagonist of the trilogy Onimusha
天海を
games.
待機させて攻撃に気をつ
But
け
you
なが
know,
ら
because of how the game tries to be kind of historically accurate, they try to replicate that certain samurai lore. But that aside, the history aside, there's a giant bug there, and the new friend we got, he has a command called Prey. And what Prey does, it amplifies your damage by a significantly amount. As you can see, this Genma bug is getting taken into the, Duff City there.
の特殊行動は早期の攻撃力を 1.5 倍
And that was a extremely nice one cycle. One thing I forgot to mention, there's a
はい、即出
a
発します
localization version. The localized version of this game is actually a lot harder than the Japanese version because in the localized version they've got a much significantly tankier enemies, tankier bosses. So this cycle you have seen in this Japanese version, it wouldn't take as much as the localized version. And I'm pretty sure, Sonny, you're familiar with that kind of thing when it comes to PlayStation 2 games, right?
展開の最速移動は構え移動です。ステップは
About like differences in localizations for languages?
For the PlayStation 2, you know, like from the difference from Japanese to the US version, they've just made the game on purpose harder, so you know people wouldn't rent the game and beat it in one day. That kind of thing.
ちなみに展開とは
That's
比叡山延暦寺に住む僧侶で
because now you've activated like the memory of like going to Blockbuster and renting a game, or like there was that really brief like online video game rental thing.
誰なんだのすけね。
Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
浜教で天界の蹴りをレベル3に強化して混合改造劇を
So you've mentioned that you've played this. Has this game been remade for any like newer systems, or was it only made on the PlayStation 2? Do you know?
This particular game, it's unfortunately stuck on PlayStation 2 only. There's no other platform. However, recently we've got the first two games HD remastered. So they are no longer in PlayStation 2 only jail. And they've been the Capcom, the company who published this IP, they've been giving us a hint that they're going to bring back the rest of the games. So we're essentially left with two more games. And not to mention, in 2026, they're going to bring a new IP for this series. They've actually recently announced the game on a series that has been absent for 2 decades. This game is like 15 years old, I think. So it's been a long time. It's been an extremely long time.
I hate to tell you this, but this game came out in 2006, so this game's 19 years old.
Okay, that makes me really kind of
I hate to be the bearer of math here.
Yeah, it just makes me feel so old now.
That's okay. We can be old together. It's good.
Yeah, 19 years is quite a lot. So I was close.
今のうちに展開に特殊を指示しておきます。
Once again, we fought with a friend. There was a much difficult cycle for that boss, but Hinge went for the marathon-friendly cycle there, and the good old reliable magic critical. But the boss that we are about to fight, there's some sort of a special setup. It's one of those things you have to be immediately ready as soon as the game loads. You have to make the preemptive dash right there.
Nice.
And thanks to the save glitch that Hinge did earlier, he saved himself 1 away of Helm Splitter cycle, because usually in this chapter you won't have a chance to max out your skill point with a Helm Splitter, but thanks to the save glitch you unlock everything on the go. This only affects the main character, interestingly enough. It doesn't affect the rest of the character. The maximum cap of your skill point will only unlock if you beat after, like, from this chapter, let's just say after the next 2 chapters.
まあ成り立たない設定だとは思うんですけどね。
As usual, we're going to do a good old... I'm not sure if Hinge took the art of war there, because I missed it out. I'm trying to catch up there, but... I couldn't see the chest
数秒
opening.
の短縮になります。
Essentially, this game has a crafting system.
ワイヤーアクションで
If you get a particular item
この後ですね。
and then during the hideout, if you talk to your friends to combine
あ
a certain items, you can make their signature
交
weapons.
代しただけですね。
あ、ちょっと早かったですね。
There's a special skip here that he got the skip, I think. No, he switched it out too early.
そういえば
Basically, there's a cutscene movement trick here when the character interacts with the lever. And if the switch animation comes out during the cutscene transition, you can exit the soft lock, not soft lock, this freeze state quickly. Like it skips right off the bat.
しかし8話終了時点のセーブデータをロードしてタイトルに戻るとこの上限が解放された
Oh yeah, this boss that we fought earlier, she's only, I didn't say boss, this friend, sorry, I get mixed up sometimes, the friend that we've got Ohatsu recently, she's just going to join at this chapter for a temporary amount of time, just so you can see what she can do with door interaction and how she can use
また交代しただけだ。
the hook. So she could travel, the other place. Since, the jump button in this game does not exist. So you have to walk away through.
爆弾を設置している間
Games that didn't allow you to jump, like, makes a lot of sense in, like, a game design perspective, but I'm so glad that most games allow us to jump now.
Yeah.
連続攻撃の3段目か
It's kind of strange when you play a game and you see the jump button does not exist.
ここはもうさっさと崩しシステムですね。で、ダウン中に兜はリーステンでこの砂かけに当たると
This boss, Minonori, his cycle is a little bit different because you have to wait this combo right there. And then you start to do the helm splitter loop. But the startup that Hinge did was different. He did the magic immediately. And I believe this due to how the skill points the glitch work because he got the max helm splitter.
ボスダイアン新種です。ロベルトが一時的に仲間になります。はい、兜割り好き。
And you saw that giant bug which was lying dormant. You're going to fight that. And you're going to get a control of your ally called Roberto. You kind of want to hope that guy is going to cooperate with you, like as in watching your back.
これにて6話終了です。お疲れ様です。
Simple. You just gotta go ahead and whack away the boss.
7話の前に技の
Fortunately, there was like no interruption from the minions.
あ、失礼。
あ
今のは私のミスです。申し訳ないです。
焦っちゃった。なんか忘れてるかと思った。
I think Hinge was paused a little bit. He was trying to think if he had everything in check with the equipment and skill points. I don't think he has anything to upgrade.
ここは崩し一戦で
the ally he took Tenkai, yes, which makes sense because you pretty much want to one-shot that gatekeeper as soon as
クリア条
possible.
件は現場武将本郷の撃破です。
There you go, a magic into one slam.
ターゲットに戦術核レベル3を当てます。はいで体力がですねちょっとだけ残るのでペチで終
We
了です。
do a nice magic. Oh, there we go. Level 3,
評価で1000円を獲得しま
and
す。
then one
あとは
helm
ひたすら
splitter. Simple as
前進するだけ
that.
です。
うわ、ダメだ。
Now we gotta have to make a long walk there, and there's going to be a really little things that are going to cause us some trouble, and these are like a flame balls. It's like a flame meteor that's going to appear. This is also probably my favorite level. Yeah, you see, there's a meteor. This is my favorite level looking in terms of design, because you know all that, the cherry tree, it looks really nice, pretty as well.
Yeah, the lanterns with the cherry blossoms are very classic.
Mm-hmm. There's just something so special about the PlayStation 2 games when it comes to the lightning effect. It just feels really nice to look at.
さあ、2つ目の鬼武教です。クリア条件はドンガッチャの撃破です。まず崩し一戦をします。そこから振り巻きの雑魚で生一戦を決めて連鎖でドンガッチャにダメージを。
This is also one of the hardest tests of valor because you cannot afford to get hit number 1, which he did, commentary curse, and number 2, you cannot afford to get hit by those meteors because it will immediately knock down. And these enemies have an ability to hit you while while you're down. It's a lot more punishing in higher difficulty because there's a difficulty called Oni mode, and in that difficulty your character will only die in 2 touch.
6話と同様に左近は前方に攻撃判定のあるオーラを設置しますが、
Even when we try to walk through the stairs, there's still these meteors are interrupted.
攻撃します。
Now we're going to fight about like 3 bosses. The first boss we're going to fight is Sakon with Tenkai.
で、戦術角での無敵でやり過ごしてもう一度。
Because he hinge unlocked particular spare, we're just going to do a little bit of Spinneroni twice. You see, it does super damage.
秀吉は体力が半分以下になるとイベントが入り、体力が全回復した上で強化されます。ついでに早期の無敵が消えます。
But it's similar, but I know there's a skill called Hell Jab, which it basically does that. Oh, that's unfortunate.
秀吉が動いた方に移動して兜割り。
For this fight, if you're going to, you have to get a critical, because if you do get a critical, the amount of souls will drop a double amount.
撃破?
Yeah, you see, like he got just a huge amount of souls that filled up half of bar. It's only one enemy left, so might as well.
次が秀吉戦です。
Now, for this boss, Hideyoshi, which is the protagonist's father, by the way. He has a specific. You have to get him a specific HP setup. You have to make sure he. Oh.
まあ一旦ゲームオーバーになって再チャレンジするっていうのも全然ありですけど、今回は普通に。
Failed the one cycle.
本来ですとね、ダメージが高い技を当てるとこのようにですね、秀吉がひるみます。このひるみを利用して、
That's a little bit of surprise, but I suppose it's probably because of
はい、体力を半分まで削って、でその後また
because what happened at the earlier fight, he just simply wanted to end it fast. It's only gonna cost like 10 seconds or so, I think.
なんやかんやあって Onimusha 3の序盤
compared to what
のステージ
he
比叡山に飛ばされました。
lost at the earlier fight simply by waiting the enemy to crit. Now we're finally away from those dark looking level. You're finally going to see something bright here. You know, the forest.
ちょっかいを出しています。
But can we see the forest for the trees?
I don't know about that.
5発が離脱します。この先でですね。
You said you know a lot about this game. How do we feel about the pace right now?
に入るとラスボスの
The
鬼屋敷戦です。
it's actually really good. It's way faster than what I usually do because of the new strats and all that. I usually come at this level around like 40 minutes.
ただし正解の場所を示した部屋がちゃんとありますので、
Considering the changes that developed with this game.
いちいち正解を見に行っていたら遅いので、もっと早い攻略法でいきます。
But Hinge wanted to make sure that the estimate of this game at 2 hours, because anything can go wrong, especially at this level. So in this level, there's a huge maze. I call it the RNG maze. So you see that the candles there, the blue candle and the red candle. It shows you which room that you have to go to exit the maze. And in some of the other rooms like that, you don't see the candle nearby, so we just go to the near teleport and hope that he got lucky. So, he got really lucky. Marathon blessing. So if you fail, you will go back to the first where you were. So you just go to the nearest room over and over and over. Yeah, it's unfortunately it's an authentic speedrun, unfriendly maze. This is one of the only rooms where you have to kind of do it in full by getting the keys and all that items. First room, you have the visual. Second room, you have to rely. Third room, you have to do it in full, where you can just see the candle nearby. But this room and the last one is also going to depend on the luck. So let's see if Hinge is going to get it first try. I cannot believe it.
さあ、とてつもなく今日は運がいいのか悪いのか。
まあ。
さあ、どうだ。まあ3分の1ですからね。
He got the special first jab there. The double jab. He's going to loop. Okay, everything he got it at the first try. Okay, never mind. Okay.
ラスボス撃破です。
2.
はい、おまけのガルガント戦です。
Okay, third time. I was going to lose it if he got it all in the first shot. Because that is quite insane luck. For this guy, you have to break the sword. And then you have to repeat this on loop. It looks a lot trickier, than it looks. Especially when you have to time his wake up. If you're too late on it, he will get his sword back. This cycle got changed so many times. There was before a Pacific. You get a certain weapon where it does a Pacific combo that you can cancel it with a kick. And there was also the other time we were doing a magic spam crit. But this method that the Hinge is doing is currently the fastest one. You just knock him down, stab, on loop.
で、ダメージを与えて仕上げに
And
浄化剣できれいきれい
Ohatsu at the moment is cursed with
はい、きれいきれい
the demon thing. And you see Soki right now gained a new ability. I believe it's called Phantom Blade.
獲得しました。また正式
And
に
you have to finish up this boss
さら
that
に
way,
お肌に
as
進
it
化して
simply introduces you a new
同様に
mechanic.
覚醒と奥義を獲得しました。さあ後半戦まず買い物です。心石を1個、心薬小を5個買います。次に技の強化です。早期は1戦をレベル5、お初は通常攻撃を
Now this is a huge
1戦をレベル8まで
shopping,
強化します。
especially that we've recently unlocked a mechanic called Overdrive. And Overdrive is basically a transformation.
準備完了です。
And what the transfer, essentially each character has a special state where they get a powered up state. Their damage gets boosted. They unlock a special attack exclusive for each. And this is extremely busted on Ohatsu. The girl who's using the gun and all of that. Hinge did a max point upgrade to the attack points, and that's because the base damage of Ohatsu is extremely high, especially when she has an ability to cancel her recoil gun. But before that, we're going to get a sneak peek of the overdrive mechanic there. This boss has insane HP, but thanks to the power of rockets and the power of overdrive, you see this thing simply melts it. Hinge cancels. Essentially, you transform as Ohatsu. You're going to spam a heavy attack, and then you cancel it with normal attack. But the first attack has to travel all the way to the bosses. You should not cancel that early.
I just can't get over the power of rockets.
Yeah. You're going to see that a lot, by the way. This is not the last time you will see. And these doors are huge. And you can't skip let the character go there all alone. You have to get the main character there, because he's the only one who can open the door. If you try to open this door with Ohatsu, she'll simply say the dialogue, she needs someone who's like big and strong that can open it. She's too weak to push the door open.
切り上げでダウンさせて、バン、はい、バン、バン、あ、それ、バン、もう一丁、バン、はい、終了です。2人を移動させて、
Early on, Hinge changed into the weaker weapon because of this test of valor. You just simply spam the finisher attack, and this will only happen if you kill the enemy on the knockdown state. Now, again, this is the last time we're going to see the leader case being down. No, actually, no, not the last. This is not the last. There's like one more.
するには心の力と書いて心力が必要で、画面左上黄色い丸の周りの紫のゲージがそれです。
So this is a special platform right here. You're going to stand and break. Oh. That's interesting. Because she was literally standing there, and yet somehow it was closed.
そのファンネルを敵に飛ばしビームで攻撃できます。次にお初の攻撃についてです。 2つの重要なテクニック。
But yeah, Ohatsu, I believe she has the most type of interaction when it comes to the partner system. She can use the hook. She can shoot the stuff that is blocking your way. She can open a door that is like locked behind some heavy things like that.
覚醒時のファンネル飛ばしの硬直を
It's I think it's again my egg or something that she blows up
ファンネルをターゲットに
that.
粘着させるというテクニックです。ファンネルを飛ばす時のそこーという掛け声と通常攻撃をバンと打つところから
A lot of things in this chapter stems on the way that you control the character, you know. You have to keep one character far away from there because this character can reach through the door quicker. And you have to make sure to switch out the character who's like near the exit.
つぼっちゃってんじゃん。
This part is a bit scary for me because if you reach the furthest way from the button where you activate the elevator, if you get hit by one of those blades, it will just send the character so far away from the beginning.
何か話すことはないかな。あ、そういえば、まあ関係ないんですけど。
Sounds like though, luckily there's a I think you mentioned we use the rocket a lot, and right before, as you were doing that, there was a commentary. And I'm not sure exactly what the actual words were, but it was just, we do this and bang, and then bang, and then bang, and then bang.
Yes.
あとね、豊臣秀吉。皆さん、ご存知だと思いますが、秀吉のあだ名といえば。
Oh wow. Okay. So you don't need to control the secondary character. So basically, this is something I just learned now. Before we used to use a staircase. No, not a staircase. It's the leader, where we make the character climb up while the other character presses the button. But it seems like you can just reach through the door faster, and there's no need to switch through the main character there. Yeah, so right now you can just go down there.
Today
I learned.
And honestly, I think that's why like things like the English speedrun restreams like so important, right? Because otherwise, like we potentially wouldn't be able to like have this interaction and expose like new strats and things across demographics. I think it's really cool.
Sometimes you gotta save it for nationals.
Not the nationals joke.
Yeah. There are some speedruns I tend to love do that. Like I try to hide one things and I just like to do it in the big picture. We're going to fight. Here we're going to come across that boss called Minori again. It's the same idea, but this time you're going to use your partner Isen. Critical, sorry. Critical is the right term. Yeah, you do that thing. That's phase 1 is over. And in phase 2 you do the same thing again. Yeah. Pretty lucky there. Yeah, right there you see when Hinge switched out to Hohatsu, he's simply mashing that one button. The way that you do it is that you hold the Absorb Soul button and then you press the basic attack over and over and over. It's not easy because it can make your hands extremely tiring at a certain point.
So there are like remotes that have like turbo buttons and things like that. Would that be something useful for the speedrun, or is it not allowed?
It's not allowed. It's not allowed. Because the turbo button, can put you in an abnormal speed, the speed that is like not intended to, possible to achieve, if that makes sense. Like, some certain turbo controllers have a different kind of response
じゃあなん
rate,
でお
if
前
that
が
makes sense.
戦国バサラの話したんだよって
For sure, yeah.
最近
Yeah.
セールで安かったから買ったんですよ。戦国バサラ
We
4
have to revisit this chapter
買ったんですよ。
again because there's one item that we have to get. It's called the Horn of Susano. And the Horn of Susano is
で
basically
私ちゃん
one
と
of
言った
the
じゃないですか。関係ないんですけ
most
ど。
busted item in the game.
そう関係ない
It
んです。
essentially makes your character deplete in real time, but it amplifies your damage by significant amount. And
さあ
the
向かって
reason
い
why
る
we
先は
need
ですね、
that
先
is
ほどボス
so
戦があった屋根の上です。
we can
本
melt
当に
other
鬼武者シリー
bosses
ズって
like
屋根の
really,
上が
really
好きです
fast.
ね。
It essentially makes their HP go real bad. The Horn of Speedrun, yeah.
さあ、鬼武教が始まります。クリア条件は経験値を2000稼ぐことです。
And to get that, you have to go to the same place where you fought the boss at this area.
大体ですね、雑魚5匹分です。
And in this test of valor, you can potentially
さあ、あと
そう
2
mess it up
あ、こっち来ちゃっ
to
た。
get the silver medal.
まあ、いつもより多めに
ギャラーンまで巻き込んだ。
はい。
And this bar shows how much souls that
さ
you've
あ
got.
最高評価でスサノオの角を獲得します。体力が徐々に減少する代わり
And
に
you see
攻
that
撃力が大幅
the
に上
the
昇します。
purple
おそら
bar
く上昇値はプ
that
ラス
is like
100です。
right next to the
さあ、お釣り
the
が
yellow
ある
orb,
ものが手に入り
that's
ましたの
the
で、拠
overdrive
点に戻っ
gauge.
て10話に進みます。早期の新力を回復してスサノオの角を
The UI just keeps getting more and more cool things that we can use.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he has to equip them. He's trying to save himself from menuing there, like Horn of Susano equipped, making sure that the overdrive bar is
短
full.
いステージです。
As you can see, his HP is like rapidly depleting. Fortunately, this chapter overall, it is the shortest chapter in the game. It's one of the shortest chapters in the game. There is the second one there as well. Because all you gotta do is just to go activate the elevator just to go to the secret lab basement.
この先鬼武教があ
This
りま
room has
す
a。bunch of
クリア条件は闇傀儡に
weird
対撃
looking
破です。
zombie that
闇
are
傀
in
儡は浄
suits.
化圏でのみとどめがさせるので、早期で覚醒して
Unfortunately, you
浄化
don't
圏
get
を
to
前に
see,
飛
you
ば
don't
し、
get a
う
chance
ま
to
いこ
see
とに
them
ヒットさ
spawn
せて突破
properly
します。
even because we're too busy dashing away through.
よし。
うまいことにヒット。ナイス。
These enemies, the only way that you can kill them is with a
水星を
phantom
獲得しま
attack.
す。お初に水星とスサノオの
And
角を装備
thanks
し
to
て
the
倒す
power
エー
of
スフロ
Horn
イ
of
スです。
Susano, you could just one-shot them just like that.
まずボスが
And this test of valor is
そ
really
して
important
再
that
出
you
現
get
し
a
た時
gold.
にお初に特殊行動のスタンショットを打たせてすぐさま交代します。
This I want to explain more, but there's a cool trick about this boss. Like, if you time the partner shot here, the cover, you can pretty much permanently stun the ball. As you can see, he's too busy getting dizzy, and you just
ここからロベ
keep
ルトが
shooting
正式に仲間に
at
なり
it.
ます。
Before the method was a lot more
11話の準
annoying
備です。早期に
since
ス
you
サ
had
ノ
to
オの
deflect
角
the
を
knife,
装
but
備
it
して
turns out
新
that you
力を
don't
回
need
復
to.
して出発で
All
す
you。 gotta do is just to trigger the Ohatsu's cover fire. But it has to be in
こ
a
こではロベルトが強制
specific
的についてい
timing,
きます。
which depends on his the teleport animation.
ロベルトはその怪力を生かして重いブロックを移動させたり、鉄の扉を開けたり、硬いレバーを動かすことができます。11話はそういうステージです。ロベルトの最速移動は構え状態プラス×ボタンで出す
going to be the end of
他のキャラのように
disc 1, by the way. This game has 2 discs.
攻撃を回避します。足は1ミリも動きません。
And I'm pretty sure you're familiar.
ちなみにロベルトはイスパニア
The
人
game's multiple discs.
日本人の母に生まれ
Yeah, I remember. I think my first exposure to that was one of the Final Fantasies on PlayStation 2, I think, where it had multiple discs. And I was so confused by it because I'm like, what do you mean? Why do I have
Wait,
two?
in
What disc do I put in?
In PlayStation 2?
I think so.
Ah.
I only had I believe it was a PlayStation. It might have been a regular PlayStation.
No,
I had multiple discs for a Final Fantasy, whatever console that was on.
Oh dear. It's kind of scary when you think about it, because the moment that one of the discs, like scratches away, you cannot progress the game anymore, so... For whatever reason, we come back to this chapter because this guy, Roberto, that we fought in the cave earlier, for whatever reason, nobody actually noticed that in that cave there's an important key for the secret laboratory that we're going to encounter in Disc 2.
ちなみに、覚醒した時に出る衝撃波にもダメージがあります。あとは月激突と、鬼投げも使ったりして終了です。
All you can see from this chapter is just the power of overdrive and the transformation that Soki did. We've seen it from chapter 1, the intro chapter.
間違えた。
Like a lot of the rooms that you have seen that deals with a really looking powerful elite enemies is just that you transform and you just do the helm splitter, the stab spam, and then they just get melted away. Before, the one used to be a lot more difficult. Before, since we weren't aware how powerful Horn of Susano and Overdrive mechanic is, we used to do this critical a lot. The one was extremely critical heavy. And with critical, if you can potentially get hit and then restart the level or even die and all that. But what I mean by critical, by the way, not what we are seeing here right now, which is the magic crit. It's just the raw crit, where you simply have to press the button before the enemy attacks. The weapon that Hinge was using recently that allowed him to spam critical as much as possible, called Gleam. And what Gleam weapon does, it reduces the cost of using magic by a significant amount. So there is a cool trick here that Hinge is about to do. He makes sure that Roberto pushes the box about 5 times, and before the box completely falls, he switches to Soki so he can switch to Jube, for the other interaction there. So you see, he just teleported right here. And now you trigger that elevator. The reason why we switched to Jube, she's the only character who can go through that wall. That small crack of the wall. I'd be terrified if I have to go through, you know, at things like that. It would be so hard to breathe in.
お初にスサノオの角を装備させ、心石を2個使い、新緑の最大値を上げておきます。
We switch to Hatsu
最後にお
again
初の新緑を回復して準備完了です。
because we're about to see the rockets once again.
お初に交代し、早期を敵に突っ込ませながら超速射で通路を塞いでいる敵を倒します。
You switch to a Hatsu and let Soki go all the way through.
この先ボス大黒灯籠です。
Just near to the exit.
お初に交代して覚醒して、絆創膏で終了です。とんでもないヘリをしています。
So there you go, transform. And if you look at the damage right now, it's insanely huge. So just like that. And it doesn't matter if the enemy tries to hit you because you're pretty much invulnerable through this whole thing. Like nothing could damage you.
売り払っておいてお金を稼ぎます。次に心石を2個、心薬中と心薬小をありったけ買います。
Now that he does another large shopping because he has to sell all of these equipment, all of these accessories,
早期は月と激突をマックス
to buy a bunch of
攻撃をマックス。
overdrive
連
potions.
鎖をレベル3まで、ロベルトは連鎖をレベル2まで。
And this is the last time where we are going to max out the skill points for most characters.
心石2個と早期とお初の新緑を回復して準備完了です。
Now, the most annoying part
終了します。
to menuing the character accessories, you have to make sure that as soon as one character finishes, you need to, during the hideout, you need to switch back to the main character. You see the dialogue right there, it says like, please, it asks you to insert the disc too. Fortunately, Hinge uses the latest slim model, so the switching from there was pretty easy and the loading was pretty fast.
障害を突破して攻略します。ただ特に
Now, this is one of the levels where I'm usually
3分くらい暇ですので、これまで
not sure what to talk about, and even usually in the
しようと思い
I
ます。
just get lost and I just talk to my chat a lot because it's just a huge warehouse. You go through each door with nothing
そして各地で現場が
special going on. You just break certain
に巻き込んでいった。
power generator.
現場の危機にさらされていた大阪堺の町に一人の若武者が姿を現した。第2話。秀吉の表変と玄馬の出現から2年が
I'll
経
take
ち、
this moment then to remind everybody, hello chat, if you're just now joining us or if you're hanging out with us, you are watching the English Speedrun Restreams of RTA in Japan Summer 2025, which is Japan's largest speedrun event that runs twice a year, once in the summer and once in winter. Right now the event is currently running, as you can see. It is running from August 9th until August 15th. We are benefiting Doctors Without Borders. We have raised 3.8 million yen for MSF, which is super duper exciting because they provide a ton of medical assistance to people around the world, regardless of borders. And we're super excited to be here watching this awesome run of Onimusha. We've got our good friend LonerHero here, who is helping us out explaining this game, giving us a lot of good insight.
早期の幼馴染であるお初が2人の侵入を待ち構えているの
Like
で、
as you can see, I'm trying to explain it being like too technical
早期は
there.
秀吉を
Like there are also other things that I want to explain, but I could not get an opportunity since, you know, once the runner are, you know, going the game as fast as possible, you won't be able to catch up explaining everything because, you know, the fight is
第6話、沢山城下で出会った
From this chapter, or like the start of disc 2, all you can see, most of the time, you'll just see this transition screen, all of this long loading
そして
screen.
天海自身も会ったことはないというロベルトは沢山城の地下牢に幽閉されている
So
ら
this
し
is
い。
a red generator. I believe there's 2 left now.
秀吉のいる
Yellow
京にたどり着いた
and
早期、十兵衛、天海、ロベルトの4人。それぞれの宿敵もまた
Yeah,
この京に集まりつ
this
つあっ
should be
た。
last of it.
この世を地獄に変える
This is like the short
第五の
version of
今
this
まさに
warehouse.
始まろうとしていた。第8話、秀吉の強大な力の前になすすべもなく仲間は散り散りになってしまった。天海の残した言葉に従い早期はお初と2人で比叡山に落ち延びる。早期がこの地で鬼武者に覚醒しなければ秀吉に勝つことはできない。第9話、試練を乗り越え鬼武者に覚醒した早期、お初の体に潜んでいた玄魔中の
Not really, because
反撃ののろしが上がる。
what happened? The reason why his character is at 1 HP, it's because of the horn of
胸の荷から早期を廃墟の安土城に誘う。
the horn of Susano. While it amplifies your damage boost,
第10話、
it just keeps constantly draining at your HP until your HP is at 1.
さらに美濃吉の情報から
So, you know,
大阪の聖イスパニア養生所に囚われていることを知る。
the power of Susano, it demands your life force.
聖イスパニア養生所に乗り込む。第11話、沢山城に大切なものを
And that horn allows us to do tons of damage, though, right? For our people in chat who are maybe new to the series.
That's correct.
ロベルトだが、仲間の絆を目の当たりにして悪い気はしないようだ。第12話、早期たちは秀
That's
吉
the
の
last power generator that we had to break, and finally, freedom.
堺の報告弦楽者という施設にやってき
Because
た。ここでは
this whole section is just
現場の研究を行っていたという施設がある。と、以上がここまでのあらすじです。さあ、鬼武家です。
it just makes me busy at times.
現場武将金剛の6体の撃破です。
Now this test of valor, it used to be one of the most difficult tests of valor until this strat was made with overdrive. Essentially, you will have to set up 2 characters here, and each of the character will do critical chain over and over. But we no longer have to do that since we pretty much can 2-shot the character. So you have overdrive damage boost, and you have Horn of Susano damage boost. That's quite a lot.
さあ、あとはもうボスまで一本道です。
After like 2 more of this room, we're going to switch back to Ohatsu again.
そして、後ろの心石も回収しておきます。
Like right before the end. Unless something got changed a little bit there.
お初を呼んで、で、角を生やしてボス石田三成です。
Now we're dashing over to the magic mirror. Yep, that's right. So prepare yourself to see the rockets again, and we have to blast away our enemies. That's it.
はい、
And
第12話
then
これに
do
て
the
終了です。
heavy.
13話です。早期にスサノオの
Every single
角を持たせ
time.
新緑を回復します。
It never gets old. It just never gets
連
old.
れて行くのはロベルトです。 ロベルトだぞ。お初じゃないぞ。
よく間違えんだよな。
This is another instant of the level where we're going to get RNG rooms, the warehouse RNG. We have to find a particular amount of combination of painting. But before that, we have to deal with one test of valor fight that is like the biggest RNG point in the game. After he killed this spider, he missed a critical there.
もう少し詳しく説明しますと、ロベルトの特殊指示は攻撃力が50
After that critical, you're going to transform and you wait around and
8の初期装備なので、猛攻で2倍にするよりも特殊で
it could be near the first door where he first came out with, like each of the corners basically that you have to wait out.
この後ですね、ボスパスワード戦が2回待っています。ランダムな3桁の数字がパスワードとなっています。答えは蔵の中の絵に示してあります。簡単に
But the nice part about this chapter, after you finally go through the warehouse, you can finally feel the fresh air. Everything here looks once again bright, lively, and you know, there's some nice water effects there.
一番近い蔵に入りパターンを確認し、その後答え
So this is the warehouse that Hinge just entered because he wanted to see if there is a painting there.
1
And if it doesn't, he goes to he knows which kind of combination of the warehouse he could go. So these two warehouse that he just went, he got the numbers that are required to unlock the door. The first puzzle is basically that you have to go each warehouse and see which number is the smallest and the biggest. I believe he saw number 2, which are the elephants, and number 4, the wolves. The smallest number is... Okay, never mind. It was the elephant, then I think it was 3, or the bears.
2
It was either the elephant or the bears that are number 3.
動物が2匹いましたので、真ん中
So
が
those numbers aren't static then? They change every playthrough?
Yes,
3人じゃん。
they're never gonna
3番の
stay.
蔵にはクジラが
So you can't just go to one room. You'll be like, yeah, I'm going to get to see the whale every time.
1ですね。
So for this second puzzle that we're seeing,
これすごい分かりづらいです
you'll
よ。
just have to look for particular painting.
分かりづらい。
For example,
つぶやかないとですね。
if the whale is number 2,
かなり乱数が良かったです。
like the reason why is the whale number 2 because the warehouse that you count through from 1 to 6, you have to enter one room to find out which room number is that painting is. And the puzzle code, it says that it needs, if I remember, the code of bear, elephant, and whale. And you have to find out which room number that they are associated.
さあ、この先ボス島左近です。
When you run this, do you write those down as you see them, or do you just store that information in your head?
That's a good question. Because I tried to store through my head,
チェッキンして
but then I've realized
以上です。
it's kind of easy to get sidetracked on it, so I just pull up my second screen just say that mini note. Which room is elephant? Like which puzzle that requires elephant and that? Because sometimes I just get mixed up and put the numbers in like in reverse instead, like in the correct order.
さて14話、早期の武器を後期に変えてスサノオの角をお初に持たせて出発します。
After you finish this chapter, at this point of the run, you pretty much have access to all of your allies. Some huge menu there. This is the second shortest level in the game.
はい、鬼武器があります。クリア条件は連鎖1戦を5回です。5連鎖ではないので気をつけてください。
Yeah, if anyone else have a questions about this game and all that, I'll be happy. Once again, Hinge brought out the Gleam and decided to do this test of valor, which requires a chain. This is one of the only tests of valor where you have to only use one character to chain all of that. And you cannot use your partner chain with it to finish the test of valor quickly.
そしてまた鬼武器があります。クリア条件はメンチース1体の撃破です。
違う。
お初に交代してちょっと横にずれて超速射で8の巣にします。
With this enemy, you immediately bring up and start using the cancel. He has to step away a bit, obviously, because of the initial attack that it does, and it really hurts.
まあ、ヨドと言いましても実質雑魚戦です。
Once again, the usual. There's going to be a huge horde of zombies here that we're going to use a chain. And as usual, for each chapter there are a boss. And with this boss and what's around it, guess what's gonna happen next already. But before that, she has this weird clock thing. You have to remove that super armor, and it can be really dangerous if it hits your ally, because with this clock, if she hits your ally and that ally also is in control of the boss, where it can come across you and hit you, and it can kill you in process, which is immediately game over. But fortunately, that boss is extremely squishy, and thanks to the Horn of Susanoo, it just dies faster. Now, this is one of the longest chapters, and the sad part about this chapter, we're essentially back to the warehouse. It's literally exactly the same, but it's just a tiny bit of extra room. At this point, this is the last test of valor in the game, by the way. One of the last test of valor. After this test of valor and the next test of valor, we don't have to deal with any more test of valors. This was also one of the most important tests. You have to get the best weapon in the game for Roberto. One of the best weapons in the game.
第14話。
違うわ。
早期たちが島原に向かっている間にも妖精降臨の時は刻一刻と迫っていた。島原に到着した早期たちは見るも無残に荒れ果てた海藻を通って王国見学者を目指す。しかしそんな彼らを意外な人物が待ち構えていた。第15話。魔空石を破壊しない限り秀吉との玄馬の戦いに勝ち目はない。負けられない早期たちは確固たる決意で王国勉学者に乗り込んだ。そして三成も。
So is there anything in particular you find it interesting about this game?
以上がここまでのあらすじですが、全部イベントはスキップしているのでよくわかりませんよね。
I do very much enjoy the fact that I think you mentioned that this one, like Dawn of Dreams, is kind of like more like dreamy and sort of like mythical, sort like it's not like our classics or like we're kind of set up like classic samurai a bit, but we do have a gun, and I think that's important for any video game actually.
And another interesting part you've noticed for this game, there's like a bit of RPG elements. You know, you have experience, you have those skills, equipments. This wasn't like that in previous game. In previous game, it was simply pure action, and that's it. But this game has a lot of things going on, especially with the menus and the amount of items that you can use.
I like that we're able to switch between characters and things. I think that's also like very fun, the strategy there.
玄馬の力を吸収し、人間に不死身の体を与える桜、玄魔樹を全国から集めさせます。そして集めた玄馬の力を使い、創造神を復活させ、その力を秀吉に与えることで、秀吉の世界征服を達成。
The older game actually used to have there is a gun, but it's not as used as much here. And the gun here in this game, it's much more advanced actually. You could also get a laser gun, but unfortunately that laser gun got routed out. Since you have to open it in a puzzle box. In the older route, we used to deal with puzzle boxes, but not anymore now.
まあ当然創造神は復活します。はい、復活しないわけがない。
You probably get pretty unlucky with the puzzle boxes because it sounds like there's a lot of this game where it is RNG or like things are like not consistent, which I guess I personally kind of like when it's like, oh, I still have to do this game mechanic. I can't just remember that the answer to the puzzle is 3 elephants. I have to actually go to these locations and look, but I can imagine having to say, oh, I need to solve multiple puzzle boxes in order to get a laser gun. Probably frustrating when you're trying to get top times.
And what's even funnier to me, actually, for this game, you can accidentally select an option where it breaks the puzzle box instead. And if you break the puzzle box, the only way that you can get that item is just to gold, and it can be very expensive to retrieve that.
まだ時間があるね。じゃあどうしよう。
So you can either open it or break it.
少しお話しします。ですね、去年の5月頃までの世界記録は2時間台でしたが、同年の9月頃 RTA in Japan 2024サマーを終えて蝶津さんが新鬼武者 RT に復帰。さらに同じタイミングでもう一人の鬼がこの RTA に新規参入しました。
Our generator right now should be
で、2人でチャートや鬼武教やボス戦の見直しと
After that, it's going to be a blue.
10月に
Each of the passion that we went through for the elevator is actually the same when we did the first encounter. It's just this one is that you have that one extra color at the upper floor.
その後はですね、名前もない名もなき鬼武者が出現したりして、なんやかんや
After that,
現在
you're
スピードラン .com 上
simply
の
going
世
to
界記
deal
録は
with
超津貝さんが1時間
little bit,
44
nasty
分
movement
57秒で
in
世界記録を持っていらっしゃい
in
ま
the
す。
corridor. Because
ちな
the
みに、2位の私
meteors,
は5分
the ball meteors are going to come
差を
by.
開けていらっしゃいます。
Like what my friend earlier said, is we basically call it RNG of Valor.
まさかこんな速くなるとは思わなかったですね。
全く思ってませんでしたね。
Now that you're down here,
違う。
あ、そうだ、革命といえばですね、
we got
ル
a
イス・
switch
フロ
up
イ
to
ス戦です
Julia.
ね。バカスカ打って倒したんですけど、あそこですね、昔は1分くらいかかってたんですけど、去年の9月末ですね、2人の鬼が革命を起こしまして、現在18秒くらいで倒せるようになってしまいました。で、昔は戦闘が第2段階に移行してからメス飛ばし攻撃
Yeah, essentially this chapter it makes sure that yep, you're going to use every single characters. Because when we started out at this warehouse, you have to use Tenkai, who is the only character that can talk to and gives you a key item. And then use Ohatsu
ただし、
so
ユ
you
ーロ
can
がおそらく1フレームで
activate
安定させるのが非常に難しいということで
a
した。
mini
なんと
ladder.
か安定させる方法はないか
that you can
と
travel across.、
今度は私がいろいろ
And then you switch back Roberto because Roberto is the only can open a strongly shut down door with a punch.
どうにかしてスタンさせる方法はないかな。そういえばお初の特殊って何するんだっけ。
This corridor is one of the scariest parts. So you see these balls of this meteor fireballs are back.
ショットねえ。はい、完成しました。
That was a little bit scary from Hinge. Because he went through it. Yeah. I had a feeling that will happen. If you can time the dash correctly, you can simply dash through. So you see when Jube's special command is activated, all these enemies are simply going to ignore you.
いつものです。
And then going to encounter Mitsunori again. But this is this time he's going to transform into a giant centipede.
あなたが諦めてください。
And centipede bosses are extremely common
続きましてクロー
in
ディアス
action
戦です。
games. You'll pretty much see them almost everywhere.
補給をして、
Like they exist in Devil May Cry.
はい、
Exist in Neo.
ああ、マジで。
また
頼む。
上に逃げますね。
ああ、よかった。
はい、撃破しました。15は終了です。
Unfortunately, with the power of the gun, they won't be able to escape anything.
さあ、いよいよ新鬼武者も終わりに近づいてまいりました。第16話です。早期にスサノオの角を持たせ、
We are reaching the end game now, so this is before the final chapter. The pace looks extremely good. I think it's gonna be sub 50 there.
ここは、早期で覚醒してゴリゴリにしていきます。覚醒して ゴリゴリ。
The biggest hurdle for this chapter is going
さあ、新緑が半分を切ってますね。
to final test of valor. Because you can, if you don't time the shots well, you can potentially send the enemy out of
2
bound
回目の
reach.
ゴリゴリです。覚醒してドンゴリゴリ。
There's one more gatekeeper left, and you're gonna do the usual bread and overdrive into
はい、
home
3回
splitter.
目のゴリゴリです。 続きまして鬼奉行です。
And once again, before all of these gatekeeper, it used to be a critical setup, but majority of them got replaced with overdrive instead, just because of how strong overdrive and Horn of Susano combination is. So this one, the crow, you see, like if you shoot it immediately, they can go at the air immediately.
はい、最高評価で天界の最終武器薄さま妙
But thanks to the Horn of Susano,
お初の角を取っ払って
Ohatsu can kill them pretty much faster before they go out of
変
bounds.
更して進みます。
This is one of the common mistakes
はい、これで
that
早期は完全に
not just
透
me
明状
but
態
some
になってい
other
ます。
runners keep forgetting is that you have to unequip Horn of Susano for switch out to Jubi. Because this next boss that we're going to only Jubi can fight it. It's a soul.
危ない危ない危ない。
And Muninori is Jubi's arch nemesis. This area here is where we get the laser gun before, where we used to get a laser gun before, but it's no longer the case. We just skipping.
なんで？
もっとカメラが荒ぶっている。
カメラワークが。
固定カメラなのに。
あ、間違えた。
さあ、この先ボス柳生宗則です。
Everything was pretty good movement so far.
10兵単独で
Since
戦います。
this area, if something goes to the south, the
スサ
archers
ノの角は装
can
備していますの
simply
で、補給を
interrupt
して
your movement at any moment. And the worst
で覚醒をある
is that the camera can get really snappy. With this game, it's not like any other modern games. If you hold one direction, even if the camera changes, it doesn't let your character move to the same direction. You have to.
剣士の背中が
This is Jubi's overdrive, and what Jubi's overdrive does is simply that it slow-mos everything.
華麗に受けられた。
はい撃破しました。
And for bosses like Muninori, it's really effective. Since the idea of Muninori fight keep him in loop without knocking down.
最終
Since
17話です。
knocking down Muninori has a long recovery, and the only way that
まずいらない武具を
to
売り
bait
払っ
is
て軍資金を調達し
sand
ます。
attack.
次に
And the way that attack works is that you're literally standing next
さらに
in
鬼
front
薬
of him
全
instead of
心薬小
behind.
心
waiting
薬
for him
中
to
を
wake up.
適量購入します。
多めに。
Now coming across the final shopping area.
次に技の強化です。早期は一戦をマックスに、天界は混合大増撃をマックスにします。次に、号来自明刀をレベル8に強化します。
Single BIS weapon for the character. Soki gets Anguish, and Anguish is strong in a sense where your defense gets reduced, but the base attack that you get is very high.
早期にスサノオの角を、そして新緑を全員補給して出発
And
で
it
す。
seems like the route
それ以降の
got
仲間は天外です。
changed again, where we don't have to upgrade any other character's weapon anymore. Since
では
before we
最終
used
17話
to
スタートします。
craft a weapon, a signature weapon, and then upgrade each
とはいうものの、道中は
each weapon at a certain level, like level 5, I
蹴散ら
believe.
していきます。
Like each weapons are at level 5, but now it's no longer the case. All we have to do is just to
さあ、もう
make our protagonist
特
extremely
に話すこと
powerful.
がありません。困った。雑談をしようにも、特に面白いことは話せません。
Now you can see that weapon Anguish, it's gonna do
も
super
うネット
damage
通販
there.
でお菓子を箱買いしたらウクレレが届いた話でもしましょうか。
Now
じゃあ
pretty much everything gets one
いやい
shot.
やいや。せめてゲームの話しましょう。
With
大
this
大
one
して面白くないんですけ
the
ど
stab.、
四角
We
い
get to
箱
see
を注文したと
that
思ったら
giant crab
五角形の
once
柱
again.
の箱が
Essentially, what's happening from this point, you're going to
さあ
slowly
ですね
lose
こ
your
の先、
partner
ラスボスラッシュなんですが、
every
それが
single
終わっ
section. Since the idea of this chapter is where every single character are going to fight their arch
鬼武
nemesis,
者1、2、3、そして
and
現
it's
場
there's going to be a boss rush.
今回
You'll
の
have
鬼
to
武
go
者が
for,
我
you
々
know,
の
your
披露でき
typical
る最後の
PS2 action game
Onimusha
fashion.
series
There's always like it's a Capcom special, in fact. You know, like
皆さんと
at
は
every single game, there's always that, you know, the climax,
となるはずでし
and
た
you
が
have to go through a
今年5月
huge
23
number
日
of
に
a
なんと
boss rush.
鬼武者2の HD リマスターが発売されました。
That's what
という
we're
わけ
going to
で、
experience.
来年は鬼武者2の
But first things
カテゴリ
first, we
ー
have
オールランクスで
to
応募する予定です。
go through a long
鬼武
climb.
者2 HD リマスターはお値段なんと
This part is actually
3990円
the scariest in
また
Oni
鬼
mode,
武者1
since,
セットが
like I said, in Oni mode, you
4990
can get
日本で
two shots.
4990円、20年前のお値段です。さらになんと
And these
鬼武
enemies
者シリーズの
that we are
完全
getting,
新
you
作
kinda
鬼武
lucky
者 Way of the
because,
Sword が来年
yeah, that archer right
発
there,
売予定です。
that archer right there
こ
is
ちらはですね、
is the
完全新
scariest
作でご
part.
ざいますので、我々のこれまでの知識は多分役に立ちません。ということで、新規の奏者が生まれそうな予感がしています。皆さん、
And
本
this
日の機会にぜひいかがでしょう
fellow
か。
phantom samurai right there.
よろしくお願いいたします。
とりあえず鬼武者2を買ってね、今は鬼武者
鬼武者
3リマスターが出るようにね、皆さん、
お願いします。
鬼武者2リマスター買いましょう。
悪いけどプレステ2持ってねえんだっていう言い訳は通用しません。
出ちゃったからね。
プレイステーション4、5、ニンテンドースイッチ、Xbox、そしてパソコンの Steam 版で発売されております。逃げられると思わないでください。
2は本当冗談抜きでいい
From
んで。
here, there's going to be there are just some lore drops that you're going to learn about
これは
the Genma creation
そんな人いたかな。
and the God of Light.
だ人
知った人？その人ひょっとして生きてない？
I believe Hinge is going to take that Ultra
まあ、
medicine.
誰のことを言ってるかは新鬼武者をプレイしましょう。
そして今
Yeah, chat. Spam the bug glitch.
1戦目ロネルト対
The boss is
ローゼンカー
about.
ツです。まず雑魚を召喚するので崩し一
It
戦連
looks
鎖
like the
で全て処理しま
exact
す。
emote there.
処理が終わるとボスがこちらに向かってフッダーをしてきますので覚醒してやり過ごします。
The glitch and RD. Yep.
届かんか。 もういない？
そうです。覚醒して、はい、フッダイからの背後に回ってダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダボボボンボボボンです。はい、もう一回いきますよ。フッダイからのダダダダダダダダダのダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダダンです。ですね、今回うまいこと背後取れてなかったんですが、うまくいくと2セットで倒せます。ダダダダダダダダダダの配信だ。
So that's the first boss is done. Simply with the power of Horn of Susano and the.
I believe that was with the power of da 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 da.
Yeah.
続きまして、2戦目天海対
And now for the next boss, it's going to be the Giant Centipede.
尻尾の緑
From there, this one is a little bit tricky since you have to.
でこの後逃げた後奇襲攻撃
This skill right there, the way that you trigger the skill is that you forward and back, then use your and you can potentially mess up this
もう一回置きます
first cycle.
曲がった攻撃大嫌い混合改造撃
With the back positioning, of course.
まあ、あそこ当たるか当たらないか2分の1ぐらいなんでね。
今回はしょうがないです。もう
うん。
仕方ないの精神です。第3戦、十兵衛対柳生宗則です。16話と同じです。
Now we don't know how many times
天使の恥、
teach
天使の恥、
this
天使の恥、
Minori.
天使の恥。
I think at this point we've fought him like
4
4 times.
全然逃げられません。逃げベタの胸
And
を
it goes with the same good old overdrive cycle.
うまくいってよかった。
A good luck as well because he can actually jump away from these stun.
まだまだ続きます第4戦
Especially if your timing feels a
オ
little
フィ
bit
リ
off.
アです。何も言わなくていいと思います。
やることは分かりますね。
わかりますね。
はい。
Yeah, the meteor shower Ohatsu weapon is more than enough. Before we
5戦目
used to use her signature weapon, it makes that some sort of a spark blast. It does a lot of damage, but it's that damage boost is not really needed since meteor shower itself is already extremely powerful weapon. Now, for this fight, Mecha Hideyoshi, there is a setup that where you can one-shot him immediately with a crit, but I believe we know. Never mind. Never mind.
That was beautiful, actually.
Yeah, that's the setup I was talking. Last time I watched Hinge live, he did not use that, but that was a really good reaction from him. Really good reaction. And the interesting part about this setup, the way that you trigger the critical attack, right? Usually you hit the enemy before the attack is about to. This boss earlier that we fought, Mecha Hideyoshi, if the boss hits you, right? If the boss hits you with a sword, like it connects the character, you still have a time for the window to trigger the critical. It's one of those interesting shenanigans, I would say. Some interesting shenanigans.
極限一戦を6回当てる簡単なお仕事です。
This boss is a throwback to the first game, Fortune Bros. Fortune Bros was the final boss of the first Onimusha game. They brought it back in Onimusha Restream with much more fancier looking fight. And it's really not easy to use all of these ultimate crit. If you don't wait for its attack, you can actually potentially whiff and waste.
よろしくお願いします。さあ、展開を召喚して特殊を指示しておきます。
That's a nice spin that he's doing.
みたいなのが出てきて、でなんかデスボールチャージするのを横
That's a nice way to end the run.
でなんか投げてきて打ち返して。
The guy in a suit. Is the final boss just a guy in a suit?
Yeah. That huge snake guy you saw, right? That huge snake guy? That's him.
あ、これダメかもしれない。
あとこれはちょっと間に合わないかもし
It's
れない。
a guy in a suit.
I love video games, actually.
じゃあ
どうしようこれ。
Capcom always delivers with their kind of final boss after all.
そっちの方が早いですよね、多分ね。
ゲームオーバーにして、
Oh, he missed it.
なんだリトライします。
It was like one tiny bit away.
新鬼武者はですね、ボス戦で、ゲームオーバーになってもボス戦の最初からやり直すことができます。はい、というわけで再挑戦です。
Yeah, he was going. He has to repeat, unfortunately.
で、誰？
もう一回やんな。
Before it was much more guaranteed one side.
横からエネルギーを奪い取ります。
Ohatsu
覚醒して無敵になります。
was pretty much, use the gun and all of that without having to worry about
なんかデスクリムゾンに出てくる敵みたいなのを倒します。で、降りてきます。
This time Hinge makes sure that he transforms early, I guess.
さあ、今度はどうだ？
あれ？いや、倒したー。危ねえ。
はい、
もうストップ。
There we go.
お疲れ様でした。GG。
And time.
あー、よかった。
さあ、蝶子貝さん、完走した感想いかがでしょうか？
GG, what a great run.
Yeah, it's exactly what I predicted as well.
あと苦手な7話でだいぶロス見切っちゃってね、ちょっとどうなることかと思いましたけど。
I think somebody had said, had brought up that I think this,
The item.
the estimate was only 10 minutes below their, or like 10 minutes above their PB, so this might also be a PB, potentially for the runner.
It could have been potentially PB, but some unfortunate event happened.
本当の武器。
Overall, great showcase from Hinge.
気になる。
It just shows how the run evolved all the way.
And if you'd like to tell the people, you said you play this game and potentially some other things as well, where can people find you on the internet?
Yeah, as you can see on the screen, there is / LonerHero Twitch. I stream time to time. I've actually stayed up too late at 5 a.m. here in the morning. So yeah, if you want to find me and if you want to hear me yap a lot about video games, Onimusha or any other action game, I also play Devil May Cry, and Ninja Gaiden, any other games that I find it interesting. You could also join Onimusha Speedrun Discord if you're willing to learn this game. And if you're looking to learn the speedrun, I'd like to get more people to run this game on abroad. You can just find us there as well. I want to give a shout out to Hinge for bringing this game at RTA in Japan. Now he has successfully brought every single Onimusha game in the series. So congrats to him. That's it. I think that's all I have to offer.
Thank you so much for all of your assistance and giving us all that insight. It was really useful.
Yeah, I wanted to say more about. It was so difficult.
Oh, thank you so much. And chat, Thank you all so much for hanging out with us for that Onimusha Dawn of Dreams run. Up next, we have Noita, all bosses, random seed coming up. So go take care of yourself real quick. We're rolling into this next run pretty quickly. Don't go far.